This episode of Digital Photography Cafe is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your DSLR camera.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe. I'm Trevor Current, your digital marketing guy.
And I'm Cristina, your professional photographer.
So grab a latte, pull up a chair, and join us as we chat about the art and business of photography.
So hey everybody, welcome back to the show. On last week's show, we talked about Facebook buying Instagram, as well as launching groups for schools, Google Drive, as well as backing up your files on site and in the cloud. If you haven't listened to last week's show, I encourage you to do so. You can find it on iTunes or listen in your car through Stitcher Radio, or simply head over to the website, digitalphotographycafe.com, and listen online.
So Joe, we're back, episode 50.
We are back. Exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Episode 50.
Getting there, almost that 1 year mark.
Yep.
I'm excited.
I know.
It's very cool. We've done a lot this year, man. I tell you.
Yeah, we've been from coast to coast, from New York, right, to Vegas.
Yeah. The show's been rolling good, and we're creeping up even more in iTunes. We want to thank everybody for your reviews in there. That really helps us a lot. We've gotten a couple over the last few days, so really appreciate that. That helps us, and more people that know about us, the better.
I know. Definitely, we got those couple of new reviews. We encourage everyone to please, if you have a chance, if you enjoy the show, the number one thing you can do is subscribe, because then at least we know that you're out there. But if you just have a second and you go into your iTunes and go into Digital Photography Cafe, if you love the show, please click on 5-star. It will really help us out a lot to kind of move us up. And that's kind of our goal. By show 52, by our 1 year anniversary, we really want to be up there in the top 10. Right now, what are we at for digital photography?
We're like 14 or something. So, I mean, we're in the top 20. We're doing great.
So we're almost there, but I'd like to see us at top 10 by show 52. That would be exciting. So we'll see.
Really exciting.
Like I said, anyone listening, please, if you like the show, give us a good rating over there on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Joe, I'm a social media fan. I love Twitter. And,
I don't believe you for a second.
And, Twitter is great. I tell you, I've met so many people on Twitter. And just the other day, I got contacted by a company called Raw Porter. Right. And I was like, who is that? I'm not sure who that is. So, clicked on their link in their profile, went to their website, and they've got this really cool service that I didn't even know about, and I think it's pretty awesome. It basically, it's kind of like crowdsourcing videos and still images that can be used in blogs and kind of like lower end like broadcast type of stuff.
Sure, and even upper end. It's kind of neat. When I looked at it, you showed it to me. I was going through it. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. It's almost like, I would say, like Instagram almost. You have people contributing video and photos, and then it's even what's really cool is it's categorizing it, right?
Yeah, it's categorizing it. So let's say you're a blogger and you're looking for an image, or you're looking for some video footage of an event. Let's say it's a political thing, for example. You can go in, actually search their database for some footage, purchase it, and the fees are very affordable, right, from my understanding. And then you can actually use it in your blog, which is really neat. And the other thing that's cool too is, like, let's say there's something going on down in Washington, some political thing, some event, some rally, something, and you're a political blogger and you want to get some footage for it. Well, maybe you're in California, right? So you can't fly to DC to go do this. Sure. So what you could do is, through Raw Porter, you can put an assignment out, and people that are located in DC that are registered with Raw Porter, they will actually get this notification, and then you can actually take on the assignment and go shoot whatever that is, whether it's stills or video of the event, and then actually get paid for it, which is all the better,
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, it works on both, both sides. The person that's going out there taking the shots, he's going to get paid. And then on the other side of it, the other person is kind of paying for it. So it's like a good model. It's taking all the video and photos, putting it into one location that is fully searchable, probably a ton of metadata that's going on over there, but categorized, and I like the whole idea of having these virtual assignments, say, okay, I need this or I need that, and then that will go out into the ether. So if I have the raw porter program on my iPhone, let's say, the app, something comes out in my location, West Palm, it says, the president's flying in, and, if you're in the area of the West Palm Beach, airport, he'll be there at this time. If you can get some footage, that would be fantastic, right? So, being able to do that's pretty cool. That's really cool. You go over there, you take the footage, you go and upload it, and now, people can buy it from you, and you can make money, number one, and then other people can have this footage, which would never be able to get it because they're in other parts of the world, other parts of the state, other parts of the country. So it's a pretty neat service. It's fledgling, obviously. It's brand new.
Yeah, it's a startup. I think they just launched back in November.
Right.
And actually this week they're out at Demo out in California. And Demo is kind of like a conference for emerging technology. So, they put together this conference, and they invite companies that have new products and services to come and demonstrate them, to kind of show them what they're about. Right. And a lot of VCs go there, and that's how they find companies to invest in. So it's a pretty significant thing. Well, these guys, Kevin and Rob, we actually spoke to them after the fact. Right. And real nice guys. They're actually out there doing a presentation and launching the news about their new Android app. So I guess they had the iPhone app for a while. Now they have the Android app. So yeah, this is really cool. And and the other advantage, kind of like when we were talking to them, we asked them, there's a lot of, photojournalists out there that are going around, and they may have a library of stuff. Right. The beauty is you can actually upload these things, these images and footage through their website as well. It doesn't have to just be done from the mobile device, from the app.
The mobile device will make everything quick and easy, obviously.
Easier, yeah.
But yeah, it's my understanding that you can also, let's say, take high-end images, let's say with your 5D Mark II, Mark III, and then be able to send them up there also to be purchased. That's kind of cool. So you're, like you said, you're not, stuck with either an Android app or an iPhone app to get these pictures, either video or photo. You can actually use high-end, a high-end device, and chances are that's going to be bought up pretty quick, and it'll probably be bought up even faster than some of the other ones. But obviously, anything, the best camera is one in your pocket. So any footage, anything you get, and you fire it up there in the cloud. I mean, it's extremely timely. Let's say like we were talking about with the president. The president lands, he walks out. I mean, this is uploaded into the cloud within minutes, and it can go live anywhere worldwide. So it's definitely crowdsourcing media. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's definitely worth checking out. Head over to Raw Porter. It's RAWPORTER.com. Check it out. I mean, if you're into photojournalism or whatever, and it sounds interesting to you, check it out. I mean, maybe it's a way that you can kind of share some of your imagery that you're creating and maybe make a couple bucks while you're at it.
And make a buck. Exactly. Right. So I tell you what, what's the big story going on right now? Obviously it's NAB, right?
Yeah, that's the NAB. We didn't cover that one, man. What's up?
I know. We're no.
Too soon to head back to Vegas. I guess.
Yeah. I'm still exhausted from the last one, but so it's a National Association of Broadcasting, and you'd think it's only for broadcasters, right? And it probably was for years and years, but it's really now we're almost everyone is a broadcaster of some kind. So many people have podcasts, so many people are doing video casts. So there's so much multimedia that's going on now, that this conference is really interesting to a very diverse populace instead of, you know, only being for broadcasters and that's it. So it was definitely it was probably pretty cool. It was definitely pretty cool. So we kind of read through it, and we want to share some of the highlights with everyone, right?
Yeah. So I guess they came out with, they announced a new update to Final Cut Pro, right?
Right. That's exactly right.
And it's got some new capabilities and support for it, I guess, for some of these new cameras that are coming out as well.
Yeah, I tell you what, I like the, you know, the Final Cut Pro whole idea. It's, you know, it's cool, but we're stuck here with still, they're just not giving us anything as far as the pros go. There's been such a migration away from Final Cut. It's, you know, it's kind of sad, really. Final Cut, you know, for many years it was always Avid, right? Everyone was, you know, editing on Avid, and you know, the whole, everyone changed into this Final Cut for forever. Final Cut 7 was just the main thing being used, and, you know, motion and, you know, everything else. But what had happened is they went to this whole X, this Final Cut Pro X, and it just, they just took so much out of it. They tried making it so easy and so consumerish, right?
It's got more of that consumer feel now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like an
not that it's not a good
feel.
program, but it may not be able to do for you what some of the other high-end programs are doing. I mean, I know some of the stuff you're doing in Premiere, I mean, it's pretty heavy duty.
Yeah,
you know, and those that are still using Avid and stuff, you know, Final Cut X may not be the right choice for them. But like for me, you know, I do a lot of video editing, but you know, I'm not really working with a ton of tracks and all that stuff.
Right.
Needing to mess with a lot of audio, and iMovie for the most part can do what I need it to do. But for me, it might be worth looking at Final Cut Pro X because it'll give me the ability to do a little bit more than what I'm doing with iMovie, but maybe not at the level of what you're able to do with Premiere, because I really don't have a need to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I you know, I am definitely a fan. If I could live just completely in Apple, that'd be great. I would love to still be using Final Cut, but I just can't.
Yeah.
You know, so now we're using, you know, Adobe Premiere, CS5, CS5.5, and, you know, I absolutely love it. It just simply works. And, you know, the way I look at it is, you know, I don't think Apple is going to change their position. I think it's just going to stay the way it is. By looking at what you're getting with this new, you know, Final Cut Pro X, it's nothing. I mean, you're getting, what is it, Red capability, you know, Red, being able to read and, you know, edit through Red images right, you know, video right out the get-go without having to do any kind of processing, transcoding, but, and then like multi-channel audio and just small little type of, you know, additions. It's like nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing at all. Yeah. So the pros were like, what happened here? You know, we were expecting more, and it just didn't happen. They just did not get more. So one of the other interesting ones that we saw was the GoPro, right?
Yeah,
GoPro.
It's a cool little cameras, I tell you.
I love the GoPro.
Yeah, they're kind of fun.
Yeah, now they have the GoPro 2, right? Which is double everything.
2, right?
Yeah. And that has just a ton more capabilities. I mean, it's faster. It's it just everything times 2 from the original.
This tiny little box camera that you can strap on a helmet or your mountain bike bars or something, and it's shooting like full 1080p. You know, it's just crazy.
It is.
You know, it's definitely got some unique usages for it. I like it. I'd like to have one just to kind of play with it. Not really going to be doing a whole lot of production work with it, but you know what? If you're into sports photography and stuff like that, you know, slap one of these babies on some helmets out there and, you know, let them run around with it on. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just they're so lightweight, and you can put them anywhere. Yeah. Just so you said, on a helmet. Let's say you're doing a scene, let's say in a car. You can suction cup it to a window shooting inside. You can suction cup it onto a side of a car. You can stick it inside of a wheel well and get some crazy
get
tire
some wheel movement,
footage,
articulation going on.
Yeah, I mean, just any place that you can think of putting a camera, you can put one of these. And the beauty of it is the quality. You know, being so small and so self-contained, so rugged, and you know, of course, you have something they go under the water. You know, it's just it's just amazing, the unit, what you're able to get out of it. So, I mean, there's some, movie companies out there that are using these little things to get like, B and C roll, and rightfully so. I mean,
Sure.
these things will go where, there'd basically be a throwaway camera for, some of these movie companies. Let's say
I think they're under $250 for one of these things. And I mean, the video quality 1080p is not going to be the same as that coming out of a 5D Mark II or these higher end video cameras, but that's all right. I mean, if you're using it for cutaway footage, or if you're using it for an effect and you want to, maybe dump it into black and white or colorize it or give it some type of cool treatment to, like it's meant to be that way.
Right.
Type of thing. It's an artistic choice as opposed to a cover up for, some bad footage or something.
I mean, really this new, especially the new version here, it's got like 170 degrees field of view. I mean, it's just super wide. And, I would have to say the footage that I've seen, and I'm playing right now on the monitor here, it's so sharp and so, I mean, I would say if you wouldn't know any better, you would think that it came out of, a 7D or a 5D Mark II, Mark III. I mean, it's that good. It's really, really crystal sharp. The colors are amazing. It looks great. And just to think how small it is. So you can imagine, I mean, as a throwaway, let's say, a studio gets 4, 5, 6 of these things, they can blow them up. There could be lava and they let them just come straight into the lava, just melt them. You could, you could do anything with these things. And as long as you can pull that card out after the fact, you're good, just chuck it.
It doesn't completely fry the card out.
Yeah. Just,
I don't know. Lava might be a bit much.
Yeah, lava might. But I guess if you can keep it, close enough. But the whole idea is they are almost disposable at that price for a HD camera. That can go anywhere and is so lightweight and so self-contained. And battery operated, so small. I mean, I just think they're cool. I love it. Pretty cool. And what they've done right, besides their marketing, is just exceptional. What they've done right is they have made all of these little trinket little pieces and doodads and little arms, attachments, suction cups, little add-on things. They have a ton of this stuff. And it's just simply brilliant.
Yeah, lots of cool toys.
Yeah, and that's it. You buy this thing for a couple $100, but then the time you're done buying all these little cool little add-on things, you're at like 500. Yeah. I mean, I think they're doing it exceptional. Great company. Yeah. The camera itself is great, and their marketing is superb. I mean, there's I could not say anything more about GoPro. Awesome.
So now the big boy cameras are out. With the big boy pants on.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So the NAB has basically been, I would say, about 4K, right? That's pretty much, that's the big thing, is 4K. Everyone's talking about 4K. So you have, Red, of course, they've already had the 4K. They have 5K. And they just introduced the Dragon, I believe it's called, which is going to be 6K.
6K.
You got Sony with 4K. You have Canon with 4K. The Canon has the C300. It also has the C500, I believe it is.
Yeah, that's the one they just announced, the C500.
Right. And then you have the Sony, which is the NEX FS, what is it, 700, I believe.
FS 700E.
700E, there you go. Yeah. So everyone is on the 4K bandwagon. And
in these small form factors, these smaller bodies and lens combinations as opposed to the big shoulder mount jobbies.
Right. So, for me, for most everyone out there, they're like, what are we going to do with this? And, I'm going to say not too much.
Not too much.
But for me, I think it's the equivalent to back in the day shooting film. You are future-proofing by shooting with this stuff. The problem is editing is just, just non-existent right now. It's very, very difficult. I mean, as things get faster, bigger, and, you have Thunderbolt out there now, which is on copper. Thunderbolt, probably this year is going to go on it's going to be fiber. Once it's on fiber, then we're going to start seeing, a major shift. That's going to be the transfer of choice. The platform.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also the processing power of the CPUs. I mean, you know, like these new Mac Pro towers that are out there and stuff. I mean, they're fast, but you know, I mean, when you're working with just standard HD, you know, they're doing the job nicely. But now you start throwing 4 or 6K at them, and you're going to be pushing them.
Yeah,
and these cameras are not cheap.
No.
I mean, the new the Canon C500, what is that, like 30 grand or some crazy?
Yeah,
like
I mean
that?
they're ranging from like 9,000 up to like 36,000 or so for these things. And now there's one camera that really I kind of liked that is in this, you know, close to this area. And it almost feels like a GoPro. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's by Blackmagic, right? It's their cinema camera.
That's a cool little Blackmagic cinema camera.
Right. Very, very cool. Now, it's not 4K. It's 2.5K. But still, that's over double 1080p. That just is plenty.
Lots of K there.
Lots of K. You got plenty of data there. But what I like about it is, number one, the price. It's under $3 grand. Okay, so it's basically like a 5D Mark III. That's number one. Number two, it doesn't come with any lens. It's just the back. It's like a GoPro. It's probably the size of a GoPro. It's really small. You have like your little back that's touch panel on the back. And you can snap on either Zeiss or you can snap on Canon lenses. So, you know, for me, we have just a ton of Canon lenses. So I'm really happy about this. But what's cool is you're shooting RAW. So, you know, not only, you know, okay, so if you shoot RAW with a 5D Mark II and a 5D Mark III, you're shooting JPEGs, right? So you don't have a lot of latitude once you're in post doing coloring and you're trying to pull and push exposure and stuff. There's not a lot. There's no more data there. It's as much that you captured. That's what you get. But with this thing, you're shooting cinema. It's DNG RAW, ProRes. You can do DNX HD. The idea here is you end up with a RAW image, a raw video that in post you can actually push and pull color and push and pull exposure. It's the equivalent of simply shooting RAW, and you can get in there and actually do some manipulations. So at that price point, obviously you don't have a lens, but if you have lenses already, either Zeiss or Canon, this is
something to look at.
This is something to look at. I really like it. This is, for me, this is one of, I think this was probably the most important thing that I saw there out of this whole 4K, you know, barrage of everything. I think this is revolutionary. I mean, this is pretty cool, and that's by Blackmagic. I think this is pretty neat. I like it. It dumps it all onto SD. Of course, you know, you're having to deal with big files now, so it's just like before, you know. You know, but you have speeds. It's going a BNC, or it's going over SDI or Thunderbolt. And like I said, Thunderbolt's copper right now, but not too long we're going to see fiber Thunderbolt, and that's going to be sick. You know, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, really cool. It's definitely, if you're in the market for a high resolution camera, you know, it's definitely something to take a look at.
Yeah, I like it. Very cool.
So, all right, man, listen, before we move on, let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, Focus Pyramid. Are you frustrated with slightly out of focus images when you know your autofocus spot was dead on? It's simply not your fault. From manufacturer to manufacturer, and even lens copy to lens copy, there are slight variances to the exact spot where light is being focused onto the sensor. Finally, there's a product that allows you to compensate for those variances and make sharper images immediately. Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool, is an absolute must for every photographer. If you want to make the sharpest images possible, then you need to take control over your camera's focusing system. With the Focus Pyramid, you can calibrate all of your lenses on your lunch break. The Focus Pyramid makes lens calibration quick and easy at an affordable price. So give your lenses a new lease on life and take your photography to the next level. Head over to focuspyramid.com/DPC and get an additional 10% off just for being a show listener.
So, all right, guys, you know, I was scouring the web like I always do, and I found something that was very interesting, a really cool article. And it's called 12 Things You're Doing That's Basically Going to Stop You from Getting Paid. It's a very interesting article that has to do with, you know, why are you not getting paid? Why is it taking forever for you to get paid? Why,
Yep.
why? You know?
That's always the hard part, right?
Yeah.
So many photographers are creatives and really not too keen on the whole business end of it.
That's right.
And especially when it starts coming time to ask for money, and you kind of, some people almost feel guilty about it. You know,
Right.
like, oh, guys, listen, I'm really sorry, but you know, I need to get paid now. Yeah, it's no. This is a business. You're in business to make money, and if you approach it professionally,
Right.
there shouldn't be any awkwardnesses. I mean, people expect to pay. And if they don't, then they don't hire you.
Exactly. One of the most important things is to make sure that you have a contract drawn up between you and the client, and your client signs it.
Yep.
Don't ask your client for a contract for you to sign. And some people do this. And I know it's, some people out there are like, for real? For real. Some people are actually asking their client for, for contracts to sign. You don't do that. You know, if you don't know how to do it, find one, figure it out, but you have to have a contract. Whenever you do a project, there has to be a contract between you and the client. Your client has to sign it, and you have to have it in your hot little hands. That's number one, and that is mandatory, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Don't be shy about discussing pricing and the money end of it. You know, you need to get out there and tell everybody exactly what it's going to cost, because there's nothing worse than kind of, beating around the bush about it and not really being open about it, and then trying to charge them later on and having it blow up in your face, because now they're like, why is this so much more?
Exactly.
Or worse yet, you feeling guilty that it's going to cost more and then not charging them more for it.
Right. And that happens all too often.
You got to be upfront.
Exactly. And be very upfront about late payments.
Yeah.
You know, if your client is late by X amount of time, there should be a late fee.
Yeah.
There has to be, because if not, what will incentivize them to pay you and pay you on time? There has to be something in place, and that has to be in that contract. I said from the very beginning that they sign. They are going to be hit with a certain percentage if they're late on their payment, and that's just it. And you have to be upfront about it. It's got to be in there.
Right. And talking about timing, you got to get your invoices into them quickly. This article has a lot of great points, but that is something that is so important. It's very easy. Again, you get back, you're exhausted from the job, and now you're processing images and things like that, and you're really not thinking about getting that invoice in. You got to do it quickly. You got to get it in quickly before too much time passes. It's kind of like strike while the iron's hot. We say that all the time.
Absolutely.
Get that invoice into them quick.
Right. And you have to be nice about it. You have to be polite. You have to, ask nicely. You don't want to be, the guy like, where's my money? When it's done, you want to be polite about it. So, when is the check coming, or however. And, another thing that people do is they give them too many options, if let's say you are a credit card house, you just take credit cards, that's fine. Some people are like, oh no, I don't want to take credit cards because I don't want to pay the 2%. I don't want to pay the 3%. You know what? Whatever makes it easy for your client to pay, that's what you should be taking.
Right.
That's it. That is the most important thing. You go, oh, you can pay me by check, certified check, money order. I'll take, a wire. I'll take no, just say exactly what you want. And that is what they're going to give you. They're not going to, they will not even, if it's a problem, they'll tell you about it. But chances are there won't be. You say how you want it, and that's it. Say, I take, Visa and Amex. That's it. Done. They're not going to say, oh, by the way, do you take Discover, or can I get money order? They're not. They're, unless it's an issue, or unless it's like a nonprofit, or if it's a business and they're like, hey, can we get net 15 or net 30 because, we're dealing with terms. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, well, that's it. When you're dealing with commercial clients, it's so important to deal with the person who's in charge of the money, the person who's making the payments, because in a lot of companies, I mean, I know we dealt with these big companies, and you've got a lot of people in the chain of command here. You've got assistants, you've got marketing managers, you've got the directors. So whoever is going to be signing off on the invoice, signing off to get the payment done, you need to make sure that you connect with that person.
Right.
And that, and that everything is clear and in writing, and that they're giving you the green light to move forward. You know, when you start dealing with an assistant, you're putting your livelihood, your payment in the hands of somebody else who's not their job to deal with it, you know?
That's
so you
exactly
need to go to the money man.
Yeah, and many times go to where your check is coming from. That's who you need to talk to.
That's right.
That is a great tip. And you know, you kind of want to be in the chase. If you know you didn't get paid like you're supposed to get paid in immediately or 2 days after, or when, let's say, you deliver the collateral material, whatever it is, get on the phone right away, because too often we get busy with other things, and instead of jumping on it right away, we let it just kind of fizzle out, and then all of a sudden a week has gone by and you're like, I haven't got paid, I'm still waiting, and you're kind of looking around like if it's just going to happen. It's not going to happen. If you don't get on it, they're not going to pay you. That's just it, you know. And then when 2, 3, 4 months go down the road, they're going to be like, I don't even remember this. You mean you didn't get paid? And now it turns into this whole entire thing, which it really doesn't need to be.
No, and then you got to try and show documentation. And no, I never received. Seeing this email I sent. And it just becomes a big mess. You need to get a process, a payment, and process in place and follow it each time. And definitely, before you start any type of project, when at all possible, get a deposit up front.
Absolutely.
You know, you've got time that you're going to be investing in getting things set up. You're booking, you're booking your schedule. You know, if you're booking a wedding or a portrait session, you want to have a deposit up front. Because if they bail out on you, I mean, that's lost money. I mean, you could have booked a Saturday for another wedding, and now you can't because you were supposed to do this one, and they call it off at the last minute.
That has happened many times. That getting a deposit is absolutely critical. Critical. And I think, one other thing which is really important, I would say probably lastly, is, how many times a client would be like, can I give you some money today, for whatever? And you're like, oh, no. You can go ahead and pay me when I'm done, or go ahead and, you just next week, just pay me the full amount. No. Oh my God, no.
If they're offering it, take it.
If a client is offering it, absolutely, just take it. Put it, put it in there and just deduct it off the total amount. Send them a new invoice that has a new amount due at the bottom, and be done with it. If the client is offering you money, take it. Too often,
it can kind of screw with your accounting a little bit to do it that way. But you know what? In this economy, jobs are fewer and farther between. Yeah. Money's tight. Everybody wants to negotiate. If you find a client that's willing to pay you and pay you up front or pay you ahead of time,
just take it.
Just take it. Do the work, but take the money.
Absolutely.
You just have to. So, that was a pretty good article. We're going to put a link in the show notes. A lot of really great points. Some of it's obvious. Some of it, is like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But a lot of this business stuff is just things that people don't think about.
Absolutely.
And kind of having something in black and white in front of you to look at every once in a while is really good.
Yeah.
Now, these tips weren't necessarily specific to photographers. I mean, this can apply to any profession that you're in, any business that you run yourself. So definitely give it a read through. It's a good read. It's a quick read.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, anyway, I think it's time, man.
I think it's time to get out.
Yes. So thanks again to everybody for joining us. And as usual, if you have any topics or things you'd like discussed on the show, shoot us a message through our website at digitalphotographycafe.com, or connect with us on Twitter. We love Twitter. We connect with people all the time on Twitter. Absolutely. It's at dphotocafe. If you enjoy the show, we encourage you to subscribe for free in iTunes and via RSS, and they'll be sent right to your computer automatically and for free.
Excellent.
So, Joe, if people want to learn more about what you're up to, how can they connect?
Yeah, Trev, they can find me on the website at alluremm.com. On Twitter, that's at Joseph Cristina, and that's Cristina without an H. And on Facebook, facebook.com/alluremmm. And finally, Google+. Go to g+jc.com.
Great. And you can keep up with me on Twitter at Trevor Current, and get even more photography goodness at our new account at Current Photo. And of course, check out our website, currentphotographer.com, and facebook.com/currentphotographer.
So, all right, Trev, we are out of here. Great show as always. I'd like to thank the listeners for their continued support. If you enjoyed the show, why not buy your caffeine-addicted host a cup of coffee? We've added a tip jar to the website. Please consider making a donation. If you're listening on the go, fear not. Everything that we covered in this week's show can easily be found in our show notes at our website, digitalphotographycafe.com. Once again, keep your questions and comments coming, and we'll talk to you next week.